Get ready with me while I tell you about the worst restaurant I ever worked at. So this was a barbecue place up here in the Atlanta area, and it was the restaurant that I worked at right before I got the job that I'm at now 6 years ago. It was like a mom, dad, grown son type situation, and supposedly the grown son had autism, and even though he was never seen by a doctor or diagnosed by a doctor, that's what they said this situation was. And it really, to me, just felt like an excuse to talk to us any kind of way he wanted to, because he was supposedly autistic, and things would just fly out of his mouth before he even thought about it. And it just seems like an excuse to be able to do that because he never saw a doctor for this. For example, one time I was helping out as a server and a bartender, and a host called out and he asked me to host. So I'm hosting, he cuts me, but there's a new server in training and he wanted to have a little one-on-one conversation with her. Cool, go, do your business, I don't care. And I'm cut, I'm off the clock, by the way. I'm just standing at the host stand waiting for him to get done with his conversation. And I had to use the restroom. So I go use the restroom. This is a tiny restaurant, by the way. I go use the restroom, and whenever I come back, the front phone is ringing and there's a guest at the door. Soon as I get up there, I'm like, hi, how are you doing? I'm going to greet the guest first and then answer the phone in a few minutes. And across the restaurant where the owner is, he starts screaming at me, you had one job, and you can't even get that done correctly, in front of the brand new server that is in training, that he's having this one-on-one conversation with, in front of the guest I'm trying to seat, plus everybody else in the dining room. Things like that. And I mean, there were like at least 10 a day he would do things like that. And it was just excused because he was supposedly autistic. I don't know how true that is. And there was the rodent situation. There was a huge football-sized rat that would take off running through the dining room. And supposedly pest control could never catch him. We could never catch him. I do remember 3 times us closing the restaurant and locking the door because the rat was running around in the restaurant and we couldn't catch him, and it was gross. Sassy runs on Duncan. 1 second. There's a bunch of you guys that have always asked my eye combo. This is what it is. It is the e.l.f. Contour palette. I use this one for my base on my eyes, and then I'll tell you the rest later. So yeah, there was the rat issue, and it was some kind of like weird freak zombie rat because nobody could catch it or unalive it, supposedly. He even had a name for it. I can't tell you the name of it because it was 7-something years ago that I was there, but yeah, the rat had a name. Then we have the FBI issue, okay? This palette's old as dirt, but it is the 24K Nudes by Maybelline. That is the second color that I put on. Well, actually, I use 3. I use this in the corner of my eye. I use this as the base, and then I use this one that is almost gone for like the crease part. Okay, back to the FBI. So I go to work one day, and I'm an opening server. I pull in the parking lot, and the parking lot is full of government cars, FBI, police, and I'm like, nope, no. I don't do police. I'm like, maybe it's something near us because this is kind of like a nice part of town. Oh, I was like, maybe it's something going on. So I go to walk in the restaurant. When I walk in the restaurant, there's all these people in suits and guns and badges. And I turn around and walk right back out the front door because no ma'am. So whenever I'm walking back out to my car, because I'm not, hell no, the owner comes running out after me. He's like, hey, everything is okay. They're just investigating a situation, an accusation, and they're just asking everybody questions. They're logging into our phone system, and they're logging into our POS system, and they're running transactions, blah, blah, blah. There were no phones. They had all of the phones in the basement of this place where the office was for payroll and the prep kitchen where they made all of the barbecue sauce. All of that's in the basement. So they have all the phones in the basement. What they're doing up top is like where I'm walking in is they're talking to all of the staff members. What were they there for, you might ask? The catering manager. I always thought it was super suspicious. The catering manager was always on vacation. And when I tell you she was on vacation, she was on these like all-inclusive resort, super expensive vacations. So apparently there were accusations made that they were investigating about the catering manager. There were multiple people, very, very rich people that used our business for catering a lot of company events for them. And when I say our, I'm not there anymore. Their business. They had credit card and identity theft after using said business. And it was all multiple people and their stuff. It was all coming back to this particular restaurant and a catering event. That is the common denominator between all of them. So the FBI is there investigating because that you have, that hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point. Was it true? Was the catering manager stealing from these people? Yes. Yes, she was. So the mom, dad, and son owner are all there. They're all answering questions. They're all finding out that this woman is stealing from their customers. Did they have proof? Did they show proof? They absolutely did. How did this woman not get arrested? I have no idea. I have no freaking clue. But the worst of it is the fact that the owners found out about this and she still to this day works for them doing their catering. So that particular day that the FBI was there, I was sitting there cutting lemons, so I was overhearing all of these conversations, and I'm like, interesting. I wanted to see how this played out, so I ended up working there, I think 2 weeks longer, just to see how it played out. You would think that someone stealing from your guests and even causing this kind of issue to come into your restaurant, FBI to come into your restaurant, just the thought of it, you would just fire the lady on the spot. She stayed. They did not believe any of the accusations, even with black and white in front of her. And I think that it's not that she didn't get arrested. I think she had to go to court for it. And if she did get arrested, we didn't know about it. But I do think she had to go to court for it. But I can tell you that they did open a new restaurant down the street from the restaurant that I'm working at now, and her name is still on the catering information because I saw them come by our restaurant and bring flyers like promoting their business, and I was like, hell no. What did it for me is I was working a double shift one day, and I came in, I worked my AM shift. The bar manager said something sideways to me, which she always was. She was talking out of the side of her neck. Just she's entirely too comfortable saying whatever she wants to anybody because no one has ever shut her mouth for her. She said something sideways to me, and after I got done with my AM bar shift, I was like, I'm done. I'm not coming back here. And I never did. Nobody called me. Nobody bothered me. They knew I wasn't coming back. I voiced my opinions with those people so very loud. That place was absolutely insane to work for. Do not miss it whatsoever. Wish them the best, and I do hope they keep a better look and eye out on their catering manager, and I hope they muzzle the owner, the son. Yeah, just shut his mouth, and it would have been great because the guests were pretty cool. Anyway, y'all have a good day.